Content Creator Show, episode 001. You have a message to share and an audience to serve, but is technology getting in the way? Not sure what to do or what to do next? If you're an author, a speaker, or a blogger, or just want to get your message out online, this is the place to be. Welcome to the Content Creator Show. Hey, it's Brian, founder of the Dixon agency, and welcome to the Content Creator Show. This is our first episode, and in this episode, I just want to give you a quick introduction to who I am and just to explain why we're starting the Content Creator Show and how it's going to help you in your journey. So real quick, I grew up as a preacher's kid, and basically what happened is every weekend, my family, my dad, my mom, my sister, and myself, we would go to a different church. And I grew up doing this every weekend. We would go to a different church, and my dad was the speaker. And so he would speak, he delivered a sermon, and my sister and I would sing, that we were the Dixon family. And so we would sing one or two songs, and it was sort of this routine. Every Sunday we would go to a different church and we'd sing, one or two songs. And then afterwards we'd go to somebody's house. They would host us for lunch. We'd usually take naps at their house. And then at night, there would be another service that my dad usually would preach, a longer sermon that would kind of go deeper into whatever content he shared that morning. And this really changed me as a person. I grew up seeing the show, seeing how does this all work? How do you take a message, because I'd see him throughout the week getting his message ready to deliver on Sunday, and then seeing the audience response, in this case, it was the congregation, and how would they respond to what he shared? And because we went to different churches, often I would hear the same message over and over again. And even to this day, I'm 36 now, and even to this day, I still remember many of the little phrases that he would say in his sermons. Well, growing up, seeing the show, seeing this whole process, I became very interested in events, planning events. I was in a band for several years, and we'd put on our own concerts. We'd play at festivals, and I got interested in products. We would create tapes and CDs, and that was kind of pre-internet. Internet was just starting. I remember we had our first website on, what was it called? GeoCities. And if you're over 30, you probably remember what I'm talking about. GeoCities as one of sort of the first websites to get your message out. But over time, I always wanted to be an author, and I was a classroom teacher for 7 years. And over time, as a classroom teacher, you either decide that's what I'm going to be for the rest of my life, or I'm going to take a different path. And so for me, I was frustrated with some of the things I saw at the school leader level, and realized that if I really wanted to make a change, if I wanted to impact the larger community, I needed to go into administration. So I became a director of an online school, and then eventually I started my own charter school. And through that process, I went through a doctoral program, received my doctorate in educational technology. And an interesting thing, I actually studied students that created reflective video journals. So kind of what you would see like a video blog or a vlog on YouTube. So in some ways, I have a doctoral degree in YouTube. I basically studied what do kids actually know about their own learning, called metacognition. So my background really is in education, but I've always been passionate about you sharing your message. And when the internet came up, it was really clear that the internet was a way to engage your tribe, a group of people that were committed to a very small niche topic, but they could find each other. So thinking about what that looked like for me, a couple of things. Growing up, I really liked skateboarding. But this was pre-internet, so if I wanted to learn a new skateboarding trick, I only really had two options. I had the option of learning from someone else, so I would go skateboard with a new friend, and then I would see what they could do, and I would ask, how does that all work? Or I would get Trans World Skateboarding Magazine. Every month, I subscribed to this skateboarding magazine, and in it, they had a few step-by-step tutorials showing you how to do a certain trick as a skateboarder. Those were really my only two options of learning a new trick. Or I guess number three would be like creating something on my own and making up my own trick. Now, with the internet, of course, we know that there's online training programs, that there are YouTube videos, that there's audio podcasts. There are all these ways that people can get their message out online. And I've always been really fascinated by how the internet kind of brings us together. If there is one word to really describe what I do and what I love, it's engagement. I love helping my clients and my customers increase their income and their impact online through engaging their ideal audience. And I believe this is true of you, and this is really why I started the show. You have a message to share. You have something that you know about, you've experienced, whether it's a painful thing or whether it's something triumphant. You've figured something out. You've found a way to overcome adversity, or you've discovered, a new way to save someone time or to help them reach their goals. So this is that message that you have to share. But it's not just enough to have your message. There are people, perhaps thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands or millions of people online that need to hear your message. That by you sharing your message, you can literally change the world. That what you have to share is so impactful that if only they were to hear it, if only they were to understand it, if only they were to put into action the steps, the tips, the techniques that you have mastered, then truly their lives would change for the better. And I believe that you can take the message that you need to share, your audience you need to serve, and through that process, create and generate a very great income. I believe that you can make a full-time living sharing your message online, that you can not just impact and increase the impact that you have online, but also your income. That the way that Rabbi Daniel Lapin calls it certificates of appreciation, that those are dollars. Dollars are essentially certificates of appreciation. If you think somebody did a really good job, so, wow, you put this movie together, I really want to see that. That looks really interesting. Here's $11 or whatever it costs. Here's $11 because I want to watch that movie. I want to show appreciation for the hard work that you have put in to creating that movie. Or, going to Smash Burger. I love Smash Burger. Little, restaurant, fast food chain, amazing burgers. And they do a great job. And I'm willing to part with my $8 or whatever it costs for one of those burgers. Here's 8 certificates of appreciation in exchange for one of those burgers. And in the same way, your message is valuable. And when you position it in a way that presents it to your audience, the right presentation, the right packaging, the right price, your audience will say, yes, I would like that. Yes, please. I would love to join your program. I would love to pay for that download. Now, over the course of, several years, more than 10 years online, probably even more than that, I've purchased thousands of dollars of products and programs. And just kind of think about your own history, right? What are some of the products or programs that you have purchased? For many of us, it starts with, for me, it was Audible, right? Audible.com. I love learning through audio. It's one of the main reasons I started this podcast, and I'm actually recording it as a video, but I export it as an audio podcast as well. So I'm going to kind of walk through my setup in a future video and a future audio podcast. But if you're listening to this, just know that there's a video version available as well. Just check out contentcreatorshow.com. But for me, as an audio learner, I love audible.com. And that was sort of one of the first major purchases that I would make online is that monthly fee. And I think it's about $20 and you get 2 books. And we'll have a link in the show notes. Not trying to necessarily promote Audible, although I love what they do. But for me, that's what I would do. That was kind of one of my first major products I purchased online was audiobooks. Instead of having to drive to a store or to go to the library to rent or to borrow an audiobook, I could just download it on my phone. I mean, that was amazing when that started happening. And I could learn. And one of the first audiobooks I downloaded, and this is interesting, was 48 Days to the Work You Love by Dan Miller. Dan Miller wrote this amazing book. It helps you kind of find your dream job and work through, are you an entrepreneur? Are you more of an employee? And what does that all look like? A really great recommended resource. I'll put the link to that in the show notes. And somehow I found out that Dan has a podcast. So basically, I went through this book. The book was great. And then I learned that he started a show, like a radio show, an online radio show. I didn't even know it was called podcasting at that time, where he basically answered people's questions. So think about that. Dan had this message, right? He had this program that taught people how to quit their job and how to start their own side business and eventually quit their job in 48 days is his whole plan. And then every week he takes people's questions and he answers them for free in a downloadable audio format. I mean, that just blew my mind. That really opened my eyes to the power of what you can do online. Because the thing is, Dan created a community. So it wasn't just an audience, it wasn't just his readers or his customers, but now it's his tribe. And for me as a teacher, as a classroom teacher, I started as a 7th grade English teacher. And the challenge, it was in South Carolina. It was this school. Most of the kids were, whatever you want to call it, low income students. And 7th grade English really wasn't what they were into. So I tried to find ways to use technology to really engage them. And what I found is that that's a problem that people have even when they're adults. They have something they're really interested in and they want to get more content. They want to learn more about it. But they're kind of on their own. They're trying to figure it out on their own. And to have a community, kind of like a classroom, to have a place where people can come together and share their knowledge and really share their experience and learn from each other was really, really powerful. And as an educator, somebody who loves to see people go through the process of what they call cognitive dissonance, where what you know and what you need to know are not lining up. And so you need to change. You need to learn something in order to kind of take that next big leap in your life, to see podcasting as a place where community is happening was really inspiring. I saw it in the church growing up. I saw it in classrooms throughout my professional career, and then seeing it happen online now. And now it's not uncommon for somebody to be a member of a website. You join a membership site or you purchase an online course, and these are communities where you can interact with people, and you can affinity groups where you can dialogue and discuss and share your experiences about a very niche topic. So the Content Creator Show is all about you. It's about helping you take that message that you have to share, that audience that you want to serve, and really breaking down the whole process. What technology do you use? How does it actually work? Examples like, what are lead pages? What's a email capture form? What's an autoresponder? How do you use WordPress to drive up the number of people that find out about you and join your list? And what is a list? And how do you sell products online? Really breaking down all of those concepts. And really where I feel like I can really help out is in making it practical. There are a lot of audio podcasts that you could be subscribed to, and likely you're already subscribed to them. And for me, I think there's about 14 or 15 audio podcasts that I try to listen to on a regular basis. People I really respect and I follow and I'm really inspired by them. But what I've found is that often the podcast episodes are focused on the inspiration. They're focused on the what, the big picture. Here's what you should do. You should start an email list, or think about starting a membership site, or go ahead and create some ads on Facebook to drive traffic to your sales page. And that's all great information and maybe even inspiration, but I'm not seeing as much instruction as I could. In fact, that's kind of the business model. You give away the what, but you charge for the how. And, I follow that model too. I think it's a good model for us to follow. But I want this Content Creator Show to be a place of value, that every episode that you listen to or every tutorial that you watch on my YouTube channel is something that actually shows you how to do something. And I see this with my clients every day. I work with bloggers, authors, and speakers, and even some small businesses, and I help them kind of take their content and grow it in a bigger way, grow their impact and their audience online. And a lot of times what I find is they have a vague idea. They say, I think I need to do this, but I'm not really sure how. And I'm kind of the how guy, I care about the what, I care about the strategy. I want to help you with the strategy. But at the end of the day, inspiration without implementation is really equal to nothing, right? If you're inspired at the end of a conference and you say, I'm so excited, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and then a couple weeks go by and you don't actually take action, what was the point of that conference? It was just something that you got excited about. And, for some of us, sometimes we just need a little excitement. But the majority of us, we have limited time, we have limited attention, and definitely the income. The money that we can put towards growing our message online, it isn't a lot. Think about the monthly subscriptions that you're part of right now. There's likely some tools that you're using to try to grow your message online, and you're barely scratching the surface of what those tools can do. And the solution isn't go buy more tools. Often the solution is learn the tools that you already have access to. So that's what we're going to do on the Content Creator Show. We're going to share the practical how-tos to helping you grow your impact and your income online. So I'm really excited that you're here. I'm excited that you've gotten to almost the end of this first episode. So go ahead and take a minute, subscribe to the show on iTunes. And if you're checking us out, the video on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It's usually just above my head right up here. You click the subscribe button, and every time I post a new video, or in iTunes, a new audio episode is uploaded, you will get a notification, or it'll automatically be there for you on your phone or wherever you happen to listen to the podcast. And that way you'll stay up to date with all the content that we have. So thanks for listening to or watching this first episode. And remember, you have a message to share and an audience to serve. So go change the world.